Y'all, I am utterly and completely convinced that in order to fully enjoy this show, you got to be under the influence. Y'all got to be under the influence if you are loving this show. If you guys are new here, though, my name is Ashley, and this is my super perspective where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And y'all know I'm here to put you on. As always, coming in right before our live at 7:15 tonight to talk Grotesquerie episodes 5 and 6, y'all. Let's get into it again. This is everything you need to know that stood out to me that I thought was important that I think will play out later. Yeah, but let's get into it. So we know we had met this Lilith character at the end of episode 4. They were driving in the hellish desert. Lois and Sister Mary Clarence pick her up. Get in, we'll take you to safety. So at the beginning of episode 5, we are making it to safety, allegedly, a motel where she gives them the cold shoulder. Lois is trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. And I think that's what's happening there. I think it's a trafficking ring, it's prostitution, and Nick is the pimp, okay? Because not only was whoever had that young girl had her, but Nick has all the girls in the motel beat up. Beat up, he's trying to drown one. Mind you, this is just utter and complete chaos, a complete fever dream, which is clearly a manifestation of Lois's mind. If you're not sure that this heifer is in a coma or in somebody's insane asylum before today, you absolutely know it in episodes 5 or 6. We have phone calls where she's alluding to the fact that she's not getting better, right? Nurse Red, Big Red calls her and tells her, "You're not getting any better." Meanwhile, she's having this conversation with Nurse Red. Sister Mary Clarence takes it upon herself to also catch that Captain Save-A-Ho spirit and try to rescue some of these girls that don't want to be saved. There's an accident with some people. Nick is trying to drown one of the girls, and then all of a sudden we get a drive-by shooting, but not before we get to the broken phone and the snow globe of the Last Supper. Lois has put all of her artillery on the bed. We go into the bathroom to find just bloody remnants, the girl, and then ultimately Sister Mary Clarence gets popped, I think, by Lois, and Grotesquerie, or whoever this man is, abducts the girl that he originally intended to get. It was a mess, a hot mess, right? And so now we're back at the hospital because Sister Mary Clarence, her partner, who wasn't her partner, but you made your partner, Lois, is there all laid up, honey. I guess Lois had brought carnations. Father Freak Daddy gets there and says, "What are these doing here?" She doesn't like those. They make her depressed. Here's some wildflowers that we used to, walk by when we would do our long walks in the park. And he's basically like, "What are you doing here? You used her as a pawn, as your wingman. She meant nothing to you. And now she's in this predicament because this killer is after you, Lois." I mean, where's the lie? Again, these are all representations. All of these characters in my mind are representations of different parts of Lois's psyche, right? I think that Sister Mary Clarence and that desire to pray in the midst of the chaos and her being this hard-nosed atheist, I think it's Cap. I think there's a part of her who did once upon a time believe, and maybe her faith was corrupted. But we'll get into that because I think I know the root cause of all of this tomfoolery. And so my thing is when Father Freak Daddy dismisses her and she just gets up without a fight, I'm like, girl, what are we doing? You're just getting punked by everybody, girl. Like, you're supposed to be the big bad, 35 years of experience, all of these millions of cases that you have, solved. And so as she leaves the hospital, she's called out by old girl from Grey's Anatomy. Y'all know her. The Dr. Han, was that her name on it? And she's like, you've solved all these cases. You're the girl. You've done all this. Here's your top 10 cases. And she starts going off all these names, right? They're like, oh, he's not living anymore. He's a Buddhist lawyer now. She's such and such and such. But we get to this name, Glorious McCall. Y'all, Glorious is her mama. And I think this all stems from a jacked up relationship she had with her mother. I think her mama was probably a preacher or a minister, like this Glorious McCall that we meet later in the episode. Allegedly, Glorious was a pimp, a trafficker. She did the absolute most. She was on that stuff, and Lois had to save her before I honestly think there's a mother wound there with Lois, and this is how it's playing out in her imagination and in her mind. And so she catches up with actually there's another event, another crime scene. And again, I'm not sure if this was all a dream from before, because again, it feels like a dream inside a dream inside a dream. Because all of the stuff with Sister Mary Clarence, the past takedowns, all of that happened. And then we hear the phone ring, and we know whenever she's called to a crime scene, it's awakening her out of a drunken stupor. So this time she's on the floor, passed out, drunk. She gets the call. She goes there, and this is connected to the church. And it's the place where all of the unwed mothers are, right? And so we go there, and Grotesquerie then taking the babies out. Trigger warning is terrible. And so, but now where are the babies? Because the mothers passed of shock and bled out, basically. And so, next thing we know, we are in an orange grove, and we see Belinda. Belinda. If you watch the front room, you know exactly who this woman is who's playing the character Maisie. And she got this baby wrapped in damn newspaper. Baby's still living, baby's fine, but now this is under her purview. She needs to interview this woman, and we kind of get the tea a little bit, right? So she works for Glorious McCall because she used to work for Grotesquerie. He has a congregation, but he's a false prophet, all of this stuff. So now we go talk to Glorious McCall with her new partner, this young man who can take it. Again, all of the men were throwing up this time too. They can't handle it because she's the baddest, she's the biggest. We get a call, of course, for the pregnant woman who's missing, which led us to the Grove. And so now that we are with Glorious in her trailer, we see it's Glorious McCall Ministries. She's got these henchmen that have AK-47s and Uzis and everything else. The partner, the young guy she just met, the other cop, comes in clutch. He's handling everybody. And then, we see them have a conversation and says, this false prophet is trying to get your attention. He wants, basically, ultimately, it all boils down to they want to make Lois a martyr because this will hasten the end of the world and all of the corruption that's out there. We get back to talk to Maisie, and Maisie is basically like, listen, I used to work for him, but now I saw the light. Glorious McCall is my savior. I'm working with her now, and we are saving all the babies. Give me my baby. I want to go home with my baby. She's on 5150 in the hospital, and again, we are there now at another crime scene, and he has the mother strapped to this pump, taking their breast milk to feed all these babies on the ground. Lois wanders off, and who meets her there but Grotesquerie? He got the blade up to her neck. She looking in the mirror. She all of a sudden gets kung fu grips and switches it on him, pulls the blicky, shoots him because she gonna shoot every single time. And just as they're pulling up the mask, the screen goes black. It's over. That's Father Freak Daddy, which again I think is another part of her psyche. It's another part of her psyche, y'all. Y'all know we will get into great depth and detail in the live, but yeah, I think this all stems from her mama. I think Glorious McCall is a person that represents her mother. That's what I think. Y'all drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking of the season so far. Let me know if anything else stood out to you. Again, a lot of references to the glorious dream, glorious encounter. I think this is all that. And again, we want to make Lois a martyr for what? Why is it centering around Lois? What has Lois done in her life that makes this so deep that everything is about her? This is all in her mind. We also find out, this is key, and I almost forgot, that Big Red, aka Nurse Red, was his mistress in real life, as we posited from before. And she sits there and talks. I hate that I'm so evil and mean to you, Lois. It broke his heart what happened to the family. And I really thought that you were gonna pull the blicky and put it to my head and take me out if I came over here. And so Lois stands up, takes her hands in her hands, pretends to comfort her, and then pulls out the blicky and says, "Get the F out of my house. And if I see you anywhere around my husband, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Anticlimactic to me, because what we knew Big Red was with that man when he was alive. He was a degenerate. He was hoeing around. No one is surprised. But you guys, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.